Hello and welcome to another video. In this one, I want to talk about maps and game modes, and not one in particular, but the combination of them. On a particular map, how does a particular game mode play out? Because I see some issues with the current way that we select our map and mode combinations, that make some pretty poor combinations that don't really work out that well. To demonstrate my point, we're going to pop in here into the testing grounds and go off to Crimson Strait and really show off what I think is one of the problem areas when you're doing this. As you know now, most likely, if you've been playing the game recently, you can select the map and mode you want to play on at the beginning of a match. And this is a vote. So there'll be a few different maps available, a couple different game modes available, and then you click on the one that you want, and then eventually that combination that gets the most votes will win and be played on. However, what that does is it means that as many maps as possible need to support as many game modes as possible. And it leads to some bad combinations in my view. So here on Crimson Strait, if we were in domination, currently the domination point is right here, right on this spot here, this corner in between Delta 4, Delta 5, Echo 4, and Echo 5. And this is an issue because the team that spawns over there, the team that spawns in the Charlie 6, Charlie 5 area, they can very easily get to the point far before the team that is in the Gamma 3, Gamma 4 spawn. Now, this used to be the opposite. It used to be the entire other way around. The point used to be up here on the top of the platform, and it made it so that the team that spawned over on the top side of the map had to really aggressively push up and basically had no cover beyond hiding in the tunnel, which you would be able to shoot them from the underneath, from the distance, or aggressively taking the top here. Maybe they could barely tuck a light into this corner sort of thing, and then they could hold the point. But I think this shows an example of a map that simply is not capable of using a specific game mode. Looking at the map here, Crimson Strait is too asymmetric to have domination work on it, I believe. There's just no central point that I would really want to fight over in the central area of the map. If they put it on top of the platform here, the team that spawns in the Gamma 3 area can get there far too easily. And if they put it back over here in sort of like Echo 7, well, where would you put the team spawns? You would have to have them equidistant from the point. So, using this as an example, I want to transition into the Spreadsheet Warrior and talk about maps and mode combinations. And so we can see we have every single map in the game, as well as every single game mode in the game. Of course, we're not talking about faction play and the siege. That is an entirely different topic. But we can see every single map supports the 4 core game modes of skirmish, assault, conquest, and domination. And they have to. It makes it so that you have a wide variety of choices when specific game modes are in the bottom. But you can see escort and incursion do not support some maps. And this is understandable. For escort, you need to have space for the VIP to move. You simply could not do escort on something like Canyon Network. There's just, where is the VIP gonna path? There's only a few paths through it, and if the VIP just went down one of the trenches, he would just be walking right into the enemy, and it would just be so predictable. So obviously, Canyon Network is out for escort. Also, it's out for incursion. There just isn't the space. Canyon is one of the smaller maps, and you couldn't put a base on it that wouldn't allow somebody to basically stand at their base and shoot the other person's base with a max range ER large laser design. So obviously it's out. But why don't we extend this to some of the other modes? Like I'm showing here, Crimson Strait, Domination. I don't think this should be a yes. I think it should be a no, because there isn't really good place to put that domination point, and every time I play on it, it's not nice. Like, it just ends up being a very poor battle because one team gets to the center really, really quickly, and then the other team's running in there with like, oh my god, they're already like 30 seconds into their counter, and then our light finally gets there, sort of thing. So I would take Crimson Straight and take that off. Now, that doesn't mean that every single one should be taken off. Another one that I don't really like is Frozen City here, Domination. Because just having that domination point in the middle of an open valley with a bunch of snipers around makes it going like, oh god, I'm the light, I have to run into the gauntlet, and then I have to go huddle behind one of the, like, frozen ships in there and hope to not die. It sucks. Also, one of the teams on Frozen City is much closer to the spawn, so that makes some issues where one team always has time off the counter when the other team gets there. But I think Frozen City is not one that maybe we should say no to. There's some of these that can just be fixed with spawn points. Maybe take that Frozen City one, instead of having it in the center, maybe have it so that it's, I don't know, around the crash dropship. And then have, like, make it on the crash dropship, and then have the spawns on either side of that. Play on one side of the map. Have domination not always in the center of the map. Make it, like, an interesting spawn for just that game mode. But what I really wanted to lead into is an idea that I had for selecting our maps and modes at the beginning of the game. Because another issue is the fact that some of these maps only support a limited amount of modes, and some of the modes only support a limited amount of maps. So if we get Escort and Incursion come up as the two options for game modes, there's only like 7 maps or something like that, 8 maps that we can have as selections. And we'll never ever see some of these maps as if we have Escort and Incursion down as the game mode choices. An idea I had was to make grouped pairs as your voting options. So at the beginning, instead of saying, here choose one of 4 maps and then one of 2 game modes, you'd instead choose one of 4 map mode combinations. So it would just randomly roll. You would get Caustic Valley Skirmish, Frozen City Assault, Grimm's Plexus Escort, and River City Incursion, and those would be your options, and they would be married together. So if you wanted River City, you would have to take the Incursion. If you wanted the Caustic Valley, you'd have to take Skirmish or whatever, because those are your options for that one. It would be a little bit limited, but it would allow certain maps that maybe can only work with 1 or 2 modes that are very specialized maps to work the best with specific modes, could be show up more often. It's just an idea. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that idea and how we could change the voting, and also just the issues that we have with some of the map mode combinations, and if we could change that or not in the comments below. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.